where you can ask me all kinds of questions, whether it's health, fitness, weight loss, any kind of questions. My goal on this entire podcast, if you want to call that, is just provide you with as much value as possible, give you as much information as possible. And on top of that, since today's Friday, I'm gonna give you some tips to actually stay on track in the best way possible throughout the weekend, because I know for a fact that a lot of people fall off track on the weekend, and I'll give you a bit more details to keep you on track as best as possible on the weekend. And before I get into this, let me know where you're watching me from. I'm in New York. Let me know where you watch me from. I know there's a lot of people that are in different parts of the country, Canada, Europe, everywhere. So let me know where you're watching me from. And before I get into this, I have a few coaching spots left. So if you want to be a part of my coaching community and be a part of just amazing people that are losing weight, making amazing changes, so you can actually make some changes for yourself, not regarding just only weight loss, but if you want to fit into your clothes a bit better, if you want to maybe enjoy summer, maybe make this the best summer you've experienced in the last 10 years, type 2022 down below, shoot me a message, or look at my bio. There's actually a link for a form to fill out. And fill it out. I'll reach out to you. We'll talk about if it'll be a good fit to work together, and we'll just take it from there. So the first thing I want to talk about before we get into the whole Q&A is how to stay on track on the weekend. First, the weekends get people off track all the time. So what little things can you do to keep that control, in your favor? The first thing you can do is plan ahead even a little bit, because a lot of times people go out on the weekends and they tend to just go overboard. They tend to just drink everything, followed by eating everything. So what you can do is, maybe if you know you're going out on Saturday night, for example, or Sunday brunch, know where you're going ahead of time and plan your day accordingly. Because even if you plan 40% of the way there, or maybe if you plan just one single meal, that's still a lot better than if you weren't to plan anything at all. So also in regards to alcohol, for example, it's not the alcohol that gets people to put on all these extra pounds. And you should probably expect to put on a pound or two on Monday if you just overindulge by a bit. But it's all going to be water weight. It's not actual fat gain. But in regards to alcohol, it's not the alcohol that's going to make you gain weight. It's going to be all the food you eat around the alcohol. So what I recommend is to have at least a well-balanced meal before you get into the weekend, before you start overindulging on some food, because you likely will. Because what this will allow you to do is to not overeat so much once you start drinking a lot. And on top of that, as far as alcohol, I would strongly recommend to drink lower calorie options, such as hard alcohol paired with maybe seltzer, maybe it's diet soda, diet juice, diet tonic water. Maybe if you want to do lower calorie options, such as they have like Truly's, Corona seltzers, those delicious the little canned seltzers, they're delicious, but they're also very low calorie. And if you're a beer drinker, you can opt out or opt in, I guess, for lower calorie beer. They don't taste as good, but they're more calorie conscious. But you should still understand that you should try to have as much control as possible on the weekend, because a couple of days of overindulging or uncontrolled cheating, because a lot of people think that the weekend's a time to kind of go overboard, will probably put you in a caloric maintenance or surplus as an average for the whole week. So if you spend 5 days in a deficit, followed by 2 days in a high surplus, you're just going to have a very difficult time. So have as much control as possible. Have a single meal where you kind of use it as your treat meal, but not as a meal where you go overboard. So have control. Eat before you start drinking. When you start drinking, have more lower calorie options. And on top of that, know that if you go overboard for 2 days, it will likely put you into a caloric maintenance or surplus as an average. So keep that in mind. And when your scale does go up on Monday, which it likely will, don't try everything new that you can possibly do in order to get the scale to go down. Just regain your consistency, have more control. Do exactly what you're doing before the weekend. You don't want to do more and you don't want to eat less. It's a very unhealthy relationship with not only the scale, food, but also your entire approach to sustainable weight loss. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. And let me take some questions down below. You can ask me all questions that you want to ask me. I'll get to answer as many questions as I can. I see them on my screen right here. So go ahead and ask me all the questions that you want to ask me. What's up, Bev? Do you have cheat days or have things in moderation? I don't do cheat days, because cheat days to me they're very easy to go overboard. If you treat a day of, let's say Sunday, for example, right? You treat it as a cheat day where you eat uncontrollably from the time that you wake up to the time you go to sleep. It's very easy to go overboard and just overconsume calories by more than you can possibly imagine. Instead, if you want to have a single meal where you overindulge in a bit, that will be a much better choice because it's easier to control your calories for a single meal as compared to a whole day. Because if you tell yourself this coming Sunday, I'm eating whatever I want, how much I want from the time that I wake up to the time I go to sleep. This means that breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the snacks between, all the drinks between are just uncontrollable amount of calories for you. It's very easy to go overboard. But if you compress it to a single meal, you still get to enjoy yourself and you still get to stay within your controls or still have some kind of control. As far as myself, I don't have cheat days. I don't have cheat meals. If I know I'm going out for a certain time during the weekend or during the day, I plan accordingly. Or if I overindulge, I say it's okay. Just get back on track tomorrow. And that's what works for me. What's up, Kevin? What's up, V? You're changing for good health, number one. Next, feeling good health. Yep, absolutely. What's up from Vermont? I see everybody's comments down here, so go ahead and ask me your questions. Let me know where you're from. And if you want some personal help, support, and guidance on reaching your own weight loss goals so you can actually feel better, type 2022 down below in the comments or shoot me a message on Facebook, say 2022, and I'll reach out to you. This is only for serious inquiries. This is for people who actually want to make some changes because my goal is to help you lose weight and teach you how to actually keep it off. My goal is not to tell you, drink this supplement or do this crazy workout or do this stupid diet and lose weight. Anybody can do that. Not everybody can actually keep the weight off. And that's what I teach all of my clients is actually how to make this be sustainable for them and have the knowledge and the ability to help somebody else accomplish exactly what they did. That is my goal. Thank you, D. Let's take some questions. No cheat days. Nope, no cheat days. You hit a plateau, you burn about 800 to 1200 calories per workout. That's a lot of calories per workout. Wow. What are you doing? CrossFit or high intensity cardio? I wear a heart rate monitor. You're about 250 and eat about 1500 to 1800 calories a day. So I think that you're eating way too little and your workouts are knows the stuff are a bit too strenuous. I would say tone down on the workouts and eat a bit more. This may not be exactly what you want to do, but it's the right choice because for workouts that burn 800 to 1200 calories, you're eating way too little, especially at that body weight of 250. If you eat more and you take a more moderate approach to your workouts, you'll be a lot less burnt out, a lot less frustrated, and your body's not going to just fatigue as much because bodily fatigue is something that you should consider as far as crazy workouts like that. Because 1,000-ish calories burned per workout is a lot of intensity. That's a lot. You may be overthinking how much you're burning, but if it's actually about 1,000 or so, that is a very strenuous workout. What's up, Joe? You down 8 pounds in 2 weeks. That's awesome. I love it. What are some good strength training exercises when you don't have access to a gym or weights? Push-ups. You can do dips on a bench. You can also do push-ups on an incline or a decline, like on a chair. You can also do a whole bunch of different core exercises, leg raises, planks, dead bugs. They're brutal, but dead bugs are amazing. You can do lunges. You can do body weight squats. You can do prisoner squats, sumo squats. You can also maybe take some heavy gallons and press them over your head or curl them to give yourself a different kind of resistance. So definitely a lot of body weight exercises, but also if you want to fill up a gallon of water or maybe a 2 liter of an empty 2 liter with water, that would be a good choice. Do I recommend working out different body parts at a time or yeah, for sure. So different body parts, depends how many days a week you work out. You ideally want to hit your muscle or each muscle about twice a week. So this, if you work out 3 times a week, this may look like for you, such as upper body day, lower body day, followed by a full body day. You can do a push pull, followed by a upper body day, maybe a lower body day. It's up to you. But ideally, about twice a week is the frequency that you want to apply to hitting your muscle groups. I also like to do back and triceps and then chest and biceps, so that, because remember, when you're doing pulling exercises like back, your biceps get worked. When you're pushing or doing chest or shoulder exercises, you're also hitting your triceps. So I like to take the triceps and put them on an opposite muscle group. So pulling with triceps, pushing with biceps, and then lower body day is by itself. What do you do when you hit a plateau? So the truth about a plateau is that a lot of times people think they're in a plateau, but they're really not in a plateau. A plateau is truly a plateau when you've been consistently and accurately eating the same amount of calories, not the same food, the same amount of calories for at least 2 to 3 weeks. On top of that, your caloric expenditures, such as your cardio and your workouts, have been consistently performed for the same amount of time. If you're still plateauing in weight, you're in a plateau. What likely happens with a lot of people is when they think they're in a plateau, they're just inconsistent. They think they're working out X amount of times during the week, but they're not. They think they're eating, let's say, I don't know, 2,000 calories every day, but they're not. They're eating 2,000 calories, for example, 4 days out of the week, followed by 3 days of no tracking or 3 days of 3,000 calories. That's an inconsistency problem. That is not a plateau. So first, I would recommend to just dial in your consistency, because what you will find is that when you're much more consistent, your weight will start complying with where you want it to go. So work on your consistency, not just how much you're eating, but how active you are. If you want to do 10,000 steps every day and you're only doing that 3 days a week, well, don't do 15,000 steps, just do 10,000 more often. Right? Fill in those gaps, fill in the consistency, and you will see that your weight and your physique will start to comply with what you want it, the direction that you want it to go into. So that's, plateaus are usually not a plateau for the vast majority of people. What's my sweet treat? I love low calorie ice cream, like Mike's. Was it Mike's or Nick's? I think it's Nick's ice cream. I think it's actually better than Halo Top. Uh, it actually is better than Halo Top by far. If it's not ice cream, I've been on a blueberry and a frozen blueberry craze lately. I don't know why, with Flavor God cinnamon, Cinnabon seasoning on top. It sounds a bit weird, but cinnamon and blueberries, but it tastes absolutely amazing. Can smoking crack make you lose weight? I would guess so. Your BMR, what's up, Effie? Thank you for buying the cookbook. Your BMR has decreased since losing weight. What can I do to increase it? Thank you in advance. So your BMR will decrease based on your body mass decreasing. So what you can do to increase your BMR is just to put on some more muscle, but it's not really going to do much. What you can do is to increase your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure. So your BMR is pretty much how many calories your body needs to just stay alive. Pretend yourself laying on your bed, not doing anything, just staying, awake, essentially. Your organs functioning, your body functioning, stuff like that. So you can put on some more muscle. It won't have that much of an effect, though. Maybe a very, very small effect. If you really want to have some of a larger effect, you should increase your TDEE by either increasing your steps by a tiny bit, or by increasing your NEAT. NEAT is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So you can maybe look into cleaning the house maybe one extra time during the week or in a month. Maybe it's doing the laundry a bit more frequently. Maybe it's cooking your food instead of ordering your food. Going to the supermarket instead of ordering your groceries. These little bits of activities will have a drastic impact on your caloric expenditure. A lot more than actually working out. I mean, you can also work out on additional time or make your workouts a bit more intense, if that makes sense. So increase your NEAT by doing more activities outside of the gym, shopping, cooking, laundry, cleaning, mowing the lawn, stuff like that. You can also increase or intensify your workouts by a little bit, or you can decrease your calories by a tiny bit, or maybe do all of these in a little bit, or a little bit of everything, or just increase your steps during the day. You've taken my advice on walking on rest days. That's exactly what I do. Sid says, you have an executive level job interview June 7th. How can I lose 23 pounds and fit in my suit without looking like Chris Farley? rest in peace, Chris Farley. So good luck on your interview. So 23 pounds by June 7th is not very realistic. I'll be fully honest. I mean, it depends on your weight. As far as what you can do now to just lose some pounds before any kind of date is just to get some steps in during the day. Just make it a goal just to walk outside every single day, because I guarantee you, if you walk outside, you're not going to go back in the house 2 minutes later. You'll spend at least 15 minutes outside, right? So make it a goal to walk outside or get out of the house once a day. Number two, I would suggest to get most of your carbs from fruits and vegetables, because if you carbs are delicious, right? But they're very easy to overeat on. So if you just take the carbs and you get them from fruits and vegetables as compared to chocolates, ice cream, cookies, and stuff like that, you will still eat your carbs, but you'll be a lot more satiated, and you will not overeat nearly as much. So carbs from fruits and vegetables, get some steps. Make sure you're eating protein with every single meal. As far as what protein to eat, make sure it's a leaner choice. Chicken breast, turkey breast, lean deli meat if you want to, lean cuts of steak, some lean ham, lean cuts of fish, protein powder, eggs, egg whites, maybe a protein bar or a Greek yogurt if you want to. But yeah, do that. And of course, yeah, work out a few times a week. I would say at a minimum 3 times a week. Get your full body workout in during those 3 days. And good luck on that interview. Yeah, so as far as your workouts burning 1,000 calories, for a workout to burn 1,000 calories ish, it would have to be a very, very long and intense workout, because workouts don't usually burn that many calories. So if you're spending like an hour and a half in the gym, just sweating profusely, continuously, and you're just barely walking out of the gym or barely surviving, your workout is probably too intense, because on an average, a workout burns only a few hundred calories, if that, unless you're overstating how many calories you're burning, because a lot of these calorie trackers, they're not accurate. You lost 90 pounds in a year. Amazing. Do I recommend weighing food and counting it? Is it necessary to weigh your food and count it? No, because calories matter. Absolutely. You don't have to count them. So if you've lost a tremendous amount of weight so far, so you already know what you're doing. If you want to start tracking your food or weighing it and counting it to be more accurate to get you to the next level, you can do that. Do you have to? No. But you can also take photos of your food. You can write down food on a piece of paper, which would be a bit more accurate, but not super accurate or as accurate as weighing all your food. So is it necessary? No. But is it recommended if you want to get to the next level? Absolutely. You just started eating 1 meal a day and fasting for 23 hours. Okay. I love how I feel. I lost 10 pounds in 19 days. So for anybody who has questions about how many calories should you be eating, I would suggest to go to Google, type in TDEE calculator. You'll get a whole bunch of different options. Type in your information. You'll get a number that's presented to you. Take that number. It's not going to be super accurate, but it will be good enough, and that's all that you need right now. Whatever number it says for you, which is your caloric maintenance number, subtract anywhere from 3 to 500 from that, and that is your deficit. Of course, the more you subtract, the higher your deficit will be, which means you will lose weight faster, but faster isn't better. What helped me stay consistent with my nutrition? I'll tell you what didn't allow me to stay consistent with my nutrition is by looking at food as good or bad. For example, I thought that fries were bad, ice cream was bad. The typical, people nowadays think, when people right now think that food is bad, they assume that ice cream is bad for you. Maybe sweets are bad for you. So that's the mentality I was in before. And that created a very unhealthy relationship with food, because I still ate that bad food, but what happened afterwards was like tremendous guilt. It was feelings of failure, like I'm not good enough or I never accomplished goals or my goals. So it caused me to binge eat as a result and just restart all the time. What helped me stay on track is having that food in moderation and understanding nutrition, understanding calories, how many calories my body needs, and knowing that there is no bad food unless it's spoiled or it tastes like crap, right? Or it maybe smells kind of funky. That's bad food. There's no food is just calories. Some food has more calories than others. Some food fills you up more than other food, and it's up to you to find out what foods you like to eat, what foods keep you satiated or keep you full compared to other food. And right now, my nutrition is pretty much 80 or 90% of my nutrition is whole foods that actually fill me up, digest pretty slowly. And the other 10 to 20% is food that I enjoy. Not that I enjoy, food that is kind of like fun, treats, maybe sweets, stuff like that. So like that keeps me on track way better as compared to before. So it's all about moderation, but also understanding how much nutrition your body needs, and that no single food will make you gain fat. No single Twinkie is going to make you gain fat. You can still have your Twinkie and have most of your regular food, and you will be absolutely fine. How do you handle cravings at night? It depends on the individual, but I'll tell you what works for me and my clients is make sure you're not skipping meals throughout the day. What's going to happen usually if you do is if your schedule is super busy, you will skip meals. You will come home after work and just binge eat on everything, or just have your cravings take over. It's not really cravings. You just want to eat because you've been starving yourself the entire day. So have meals throughout the day. Make sure your meals are actual balanced meals. Make sure there's some kinds of vegetables in your meals. There has to be a protein in there, not because protein is magical, because protein digests very slowly and it's very filling. And if you have protein starting from the morning, you'll be a lot more full throughout the day. That's it. So make sure there's protein and vegetables with every meal. If you're going to snack on something, snack on like a protein, like a Greek yogurt, maybe a low carb wrap with a protein, or snack on a fruit, right? It's going to fill you up for way longer than if you were to snack on like potato chips or something. And you can also, in order to prevent nighttime snacking, is to eat dinner a bit closer to bedtime. If your dinner is at 6 and you go to sleep at 11, that's 5 hours of time for you to actually get hungry and start to crave certain things, right? Or it's not cravings, you're just hungry. So push your dinner a bit closer to bedtime to reduce that window, to give you a less chance of being hungry. Or if you want to make an additional tweak, is make your dinner a giant salad with protein, obviously, because a giant salad is low calories, it's super filling, and if you have a giant salad with protein for dinner, you're a lot less likely to be hungry during the evening because you're just so full. So that's going to help you out a lot. Yep, calorie deficit. You've been told your BMR is around 1347. I was told to do a 1200 calorie diet. So don't confuse your BMR and your TDEE. So BMR is just how many calories your body needs to stay alive, stay awake, and just function. Your BMR does not include your activities and your workouts. That's TDEE. So your BMR could be 13, let's say 1350 or so, but it's going to be your caloric requirements will be a lot higher because this number does not take into account your workouts, your activities during the day, and your cardio if you do any, right? So keep that into account. Keep that in mind. Do I have a preferred method for assessing body composition? Good question, Alan, and thank you for buying the cookbook. As far as body composition, the scale is the worst way to do that. So if your only way of measuring your body composition is by the scale, it's not good. So I would strongly recommend is to take photos of yourself every week or two, or every month, just at least once in a month period. Same poses, same lighting, same place, take the same photo and compare it. Number two, I would say to or suggest to take body measurements, because sometimes your scale may not move, but your measurements will change. That is a huge win. On top of that, I would recommend to try on different clothing. Sometimes the scale may not budge, but your clothes will fit better. So do that. Body measurements are by far the most important thing as far as looking at your body composition. Do not look at gauge your body composition by those are fat calipers. They're super inaccurate. They don't work, and they add more things into the fire that just serve no purpose. So don't look at those. Especially if you look at personal trainers in the gym, they like to provide you more value or more insight, whatever you want to call it, by using calipers for your body fat. It's super inaccurate. It's totally pointless. How many calories should you burn a day to lose weight? 62-year-old active female. How many calories should you burn in a day? Nobody can tell you that. Maybe the question you're asking is how many calories should you eat per day? In order to get that number, again, you can type in TDEE calculator into Google. It'll give you a number. But if you're eating 1,200 calories like you say you are, that's definitely way too little. I would definitely suggest to bump that up to at least a few hundred as a very minimum, a few hundred calories more, and make sure you're very consistent in your calorie tracking. What happens a lot of times is when people eat very little calories, like 1,200 or something crazy like that, they're very inconsistent with tracking. So they might eat 1,200 for 3 days, and the fourth day they might just not track anything, or just track 1,200, eat 500 or 1,000 more and not track it because they feel like they're guilty or they did something bad. So eat more, but be more consistent with your tracking. Can you do cardio and use dumbbells every day? Absolutely, I do that. What's up, Braden? Found me on Instagram and love the meal preps. I've made about 4 or 5 of them so far, and they've all been awesome. Thank you, Braden. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely eat what you want to eat. Make sure it's enjoyable. Make sure you track your food if you want to track your food. And remember, consistency is the most important part. You can have the best meal plan. I shouldn't say that. I hate meal, but best nutrition. I do not like meal plans. I think they're very, very stupid and not sustainable. Just make sure you're consistent. Whatever kind of nutrition plan you're following, make sure you're consistent. Thank you for saying that, Kat. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. How do you train when you're sick? When you're sick, focus on recovery. What I personally like to do, I'm not saying this for you to do this, Andre, is go for a walk, get some fresh air. Don't feel forced to go for a workout and try to, work out while you're sick, unless you like the feeling of sweating after a workout, like a home workout or something like that. Go for a walk, get some fresh air, right? Focus on recovery, because it's better to kind of speed up your recovery than to try to force yourself to work out and have a crappy workout as a result. So get a walk in, get some fresh air, get some steps in, and focus on recovery. You feel like you start over and give up every day. You want to lose weight so much, but you feel like you keep sabotaging. Yes, self-sabotage is it's a huge deal. It's a much bigger issue than people think there is, because people think that it's just eat less, move more. Very simple, right? Well, it's not that easy. Self-sabotage is important to understand. So how do you get over, or how do you manage self-sabotage? Here's what I tell myself, and I tell a lot of my clients to adopt this mentality: is whatever somebody else has achieved, whatever level of success somebody has achieved or attained, nothing is stopping you from reaching that same level of success. The only thing that's stopping you is you. Because if you just are good enough, if you go in the right direction, if you just work at it piece by piece, brick by brick, you will be at that place you want to be at. But if you tell yourself you can't do this, you won't be there. So whatever level of success somebody has achieved, you can get that level of success as well. But if you keep telling yourself you can't do it for whatever reason, you tell yourself, you won't get to that place. And I kept telling myself, like, a personal thing is like, I will never be at a certain place because I'm not worthy of it. I'm not successful enough. I'm not capable of achieving that, whatever it is I wanted to achieve before. Like, that was a reality for me. So I wasn't able to achieve it. But as soon as I told myself I can do that as well, it might take me longer, but I can. And I started using more positive uh, verbiage, more being more optimistic, and started to catch myself whenever I spoke about different things or answered different people. Instead of using no or using words that are very negative or kind of put myself down, I started to catch myself and use more optimistic words or more positive words. And that actually had a huge impact on my success. And I guarantee if you apply the same thing, it will have a drastic impact on your self-worth, your self-sabotage, and just how you approach situations, you know? So look at it more from a positive light, and you can do it too. Nothing is stopping you from being more, or, you know, have a better transformation that I had. Nothing's stopping you. What is something I can eat daily? And do you use a lot of salt or none? I love salt. Salt is a very underrated performance enhancer. If you eat salt or sodium, because salt isn't 100% sodium. So sodium helps you have less fatigue, more energy, more strength in the gym or at home workouts if you do that. It's a great tool. What do I eat every day? I eat eggs and egg scrambles every day. I absolutely love them. How do you get my cookbook? You can check my profile link. This should a profile bio. There should be a link for the cookbook over there. What's up, Shelly? Shelly's doing amazing. She's actually working with me, and she's absolutely crushing it. How often do I work out? Personally, I work out about 5 times a week because I just like it. You don't have to. Let's see. Do you have things like miracle noodles or chickpea pasta? I love chickpea pasta. It's very high in protein, very high in fiber, and it tastes really good. Miracle noodles, uh, if those are the same as Kojak noodles, I have had them. Personally, I don't know, something about those Kojak noodles, if it's exactly what miracle pasta is, it just makes my stomach um, feel very strange. I don't know. It's just I stop eating them. Do I think training at 5 a.m. with empty stomach is a bad idea? If you're training at 5 a.m., and I used to train at about the same time, 4:30, 5 a.m., where I used to work a job. I think it was a year and a half ago. I used to work a construction job before I started doing this full time. I used to work out very early, and I had no appetite that early in the morning. So what I did at that time, just to have a bit more energy, because I worked out so early, is I had something sweet, a piece of chocolate, a candy, a cookie, something very sweet that digested very quickly, that gave me just a tiny boost of energy for the workout. So that's what I would recommend for you, is something very sweet, something very sugary before that workout, because you don't want it to be heavy. You don't want to eat a whole sit down meal. You're going to feel like crap for the whole workout. You're going to feel very bloated. So something that doesn't take up a lot of space in your stomach, digests very quickly, and has a lot of sugar in it. I appreciate all these questions. If you're getting value so far, drop a fire emoji in the comments below. What's up, Noah? Any tips to maintain weight loss? Absolutely. Make sure you lost your weight in a very sustainable way. No reliance on crazy diets, no detoxes or cleanses, and no crazy restrictions. Um, if you have taken those steps to lose your weight, the the best way to maintain your weight loss is to apply the same things as you did when you lost the weight. Just to have your protein and vegetables, not have guilt associated with eating something out, right? Going out and actually enjoying yourself. What I found gets people off track a lot of times is when they go out and overeat by a lot and then take drastic measures afterwards to try to get back on track. That will get you off track more than actually planning a free meal, essentially. So understand how to go out and enjoy yourself and not have the emotional feelings of guilt attached afterwards. right? That's a very important thing to understand. Food is energy, absolutely. Keto is the way for you. 130 pounds down. Yeah, listen, if you use keto to lose weight, that's awesome. Congratulations. 130 pounds is no joke. That's amazing. Listen, I understand people like keto. Whichever way you want to use to get healthier, I'm all for it. I just want everybody to understand that for the vast majority of people, if you do something like keto or maybe like the carnivore diet, whatever it may be, you will find that it's just not that sustainable for you. Is it sustainable for a very small percentage of people? Yes. Is it realistic and sustainable for the vast majority of people? No. So if you lost weight on keto, that's amazing. Yeah, walk every day and get a bunch of water. Absolutely. How long did it take for me to lose 100 pounds? A year? No. So I lost 135 and it took me around 4 years, a bit over 4 years. Primarily because I made a whole ton of mistakes in the beginning and because I binge ate a lot. I punished myself with food all the time. I used to make up for eating more by doing way more cardio or additional workouts or twice a day workouts. So it was a very unhealthy relationship with food and my personal body. On top of that, I just kept comparing myself with like fitness models and stuff like that. And whenever I couldn't reach or see my progress compared to those people, I started to punish myself with food or more workouts. So it was a very unhealthy cycle. So it took me a bit over 4 years to lose 130 plus. And I know plenty of people that have lost more weight than me in a shorter period of time. That's awesome. But this is my journey. Is 128 ounces of water a good goal? Sure, if you want to. I don't drink that much, but if you want to drink that much, go for it. Once you journal what you eat and you know how many calories are in a portion, it helps you not overeat. Absolutely. Hello from Italy. Amazing. What's up, Astro? Hello from Italy. What's the weather in Italy like right now? How do you figure out how many macros are in cooked rice that your dad cooked? If you The more ingredients that you add to any kind of recipe, the more difficult it will be to understand how many calories or macros are in it. Your best choice is to figure out the raw or the separated ingredients and weigh it out if you want to. So maybe unless it's like dry seasonings, it's not going to really affect it too much unless you put in sugar in it, which I doubt people putting sugar in rice. But weigh it out. But it's not a very accurate way to do that because if it has a lot of things in it, like let's say it has beans in there, maybe it has a sauce in there, you won't be accurate. But if you're using MyFitnessPal, find something that seems comparable and just plug it in. Because if it's inaccurate, but you still plugged it in, that's still a better choice than to leave it blank and kind of, you know, forget about it. What's up, Mario? Appreciate that. How much water do I drink in a day? I would say about maybe 3/4 of a gallon, maybe a bit over half a gallon. I drink until I'm not thirsty. And you don't have to drink a whole gallon of water unless you're doing maybe a very uh, a construction job in the summertime where you have to drink that much water, or you're an athlete always sweating a whole ton, right? Or you're a marathon runner. People think they have to drink that much water, and it's simply not true. But if you want to, go for it. Just drink until you're not thirsty, and that's it. If you're in a calorie deficit, do you have to worry about losing muscle? Do you have to worry about it? That's a personal, decision. But when you're losing weight, you don't only lose fat, you lose fat and muscle. It's just that the ratio of fat to muscle loss is something that you can actually um, control. So when you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight, you will lose fat, but you will also lose some muscle. But how do you slow down muscle loss in a weight loss phase? That could be done by a couple of things. The first one is to make sure that you're using a small calorie deficit, very gradual decrease, because the more drastic approach you take, the less muscle preservation that you can actually retain. On top of that, have a very high protein diet, because if your protein is high, your muscle just breaks down, or it you retain as much muscle as possible. So keep your protein as high as possible in a weight loss phase. This will help your muscle preservation by a whole ton. And on top of that, train heavy. If you're a natural athlete, which means just you're not on hormones, because some people are on hormones, it's okay. But if you're a natural athlete or just a regular person going to the gym, train for strength. Try to train in a way where you retain as much strength as possible, because you want to train in a rep range of like 8 to 15, because if you focus on strength, you will retain muscle as a result, or more muscle than if you were to just train in the 20 rep range and kind of just do a whole bunch of reps. So keep protein high, train for strength, or train as strongly as possible, and lose weight at a very small increment. But you will lose some muscle when losing weight. Is just the way that it is. Same way as you will gain fat while gaining muscle. It's just that you can prevent fat gain while gaining weight by making your surplus very, very small and gradual. Yeah, bread is not the enemy. It's just very delicious. You're stuck. You eat 1,200 calories. You walk 6,000 steps. What can you do? Low carb, low sugar. First, I would suggest to look at your consistency, and are you actually eating 1,200 every single day? Because that's a very little amount of calories to be consuming on a continuous basis, along with 6,000 steps every day. I don't even know if that's including workouts. People tend to take a very drastic approach. They want to lose weight, let me eat as little as possible. Well, they burn out, they crash diet, and they just think that, they find it's not very sustainable. I would recommend to eat a bit more. If you eat more, you will actually be more consistent, and you will see that it's easier to lose weight than if you actually were eating less. So eat a bit more. It's okay. You won't gain weight. No, don't be scared. Thank you for saying that, Linda. How do you work with me? How do you sign up? If you want to work with me, you can type in 2022 down below in the comments, or on Facebook, you can shoot me a message, say 2022, and I'll reach out to you. We'll just talk about that. Or if you want to also go to my profile, there is a link for applications. You can click on that, submit an application. I'll reach out to you and talk to you about what that would actually look like. And for anybody that does work with me, it's also a very just small knit community that just filled with a lot of amazing people that are seeing just tremendous results. But also, it's a very supportive community that I coach, because it's not just losing, eat less and move more. It's a lot of things involved in this, and accountability and support, and just knowing that there's people like you that want to actually see very similar results, that just talk to you all the time. It just makes it a more enjoyable process, which is the community that I've created for my clients. What's my favorite protein drink if I drink them? I've been drinking bodybuilding.com's signature whey chocolate fudge flavored protein. It's delicious. Tastes like a protein shake. Just drinking wine screw up your entire macros for the day. Wine, any kind of alcohol, will not screw up your macros unless you let it. A glass of wine is fine. 2 glasses of wine is fine. Just take those calories, subtract it from your daily caloric allowance, and you'll be fine. Do I drink? Yes, I do. Not all the time, but if I'm in a situation where there's some drinks, and I have one. You got to lose the last 50 pounds. 49-year-old man, but can't get it off. Really plateau. Best thing, you have a brachial plexus injury. Get some steps in. Dial in your nutrition. Most of your progress will come from nutrition. So see how much you're eating. If you don't want to track calories, just clean up your nutrition. Have more protein, more vegetables, more fruits, more fiber, right? Wine is a lot of people's weaknesses, including my clients. Some of them know. Any thoughts on beer? Uh, yeah, it's good if you like it. If you want to reduce your calorie intake by means of changing up your beer, you can also change your beers to maybe light beers. What's up, Isabel? You're from Montreal. What advice would I give you to start? You have 155 pounds to eliminate. I love that. 155 pounds to eliminate. That's a great way to put it. If you want some advice, start slow. Don't look at the crazy diets out there. Don't look at the crazy workouts out there. Don't get intimidated by um, people around you maybe losing weight, and now you feel like you have to meet, you know, their progress. Be your own person. Start slow, clean up your nutrition little by little. Have more fibrous vegetables, more greens, more reds. Include protein with every plate. Make sure you're getting at least 3 meals per day, right? It will help you out because it will keep you more fuller throughout the day. Have protein with every meal, and focus on late night snacking if that is a problem for you, because a lot of times people tend to snack a lot at night, which ends up being a whole ton of calories. And also limit or completely eliminate liquid calories, such as soda, uh, maybe full fat milk. This could be like milkshakes, full calorie dressings, stuff like that. Even oils, because liquid calories will not fill you up, but there's a ton of calories in them. You're much better off taking those calories and eating them instead with regular food. What would I order at Chipotle? I love Chipotle, so I get on the bottom. I get a bed of lettuce. If I'm trying to stay a little lower carb because I'm having more carbs later, I have a bed of lettuce followed by black and pinto beans, followed by a double steak or double chicken, and then all the vegetables, all the salsas, all the corn, extra fajita veggies, and no guac, no cheese, and no sour cream. I try to make it double of everything besides the rice, guac, cheese, and sour cream. Am I a coffee drinker? Absolutely. I drink it. I take 0-calorie sweetener in my coffee, and I put almond milk, sugar-free almond milk, and occasionally I may put some protein powder in my coffee as a creamer. It's absolutely delicious. Is it better to train every day with 1 day rest, or just do a bunch of days on and days off while keeping food diets? Better is relative to you and what your schedule will allow you to be more consistent with. Um, you definitely want to have some rest days in there. So it depends on how your split is, right? Um, if you're training every day, you want to have probably one or two, not probably, at least 1 or 2 rest days during the week. You can do 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, repeat. Remember, your routine is not around a Monday to Sunday schedule. It's on a 7-day schedule. So maybe you worked out on a Monday and Tuesday this week. Next week is going to be Wednesday and Thursday, right? It may change. So just follow up whatever the next days are, if that makes sense. Definitely have some rest days. You don't want to. The worst thing for anybody's progress is an injury, and you don't want to get injured. Thank you, Sid. You gotta lose 100 pounds. You can't eat anything. Corn products, wheat, soy products, and processed flour and sugar bloat you, slow your metabolism, give me inflammation. Don't eat them. If there's any kind of certain specific foods that you can't eat, don't eat them. There's 100 different ways to lose weight, and none of them include eating specific foods, right? There's no requirement there's nothing that says you have to eat anything specific in order to lose weight. It's about calories and how do you manage those calories. If you can't eat soy and corn, that's fine. It's not a problem. Just don't eat them. Focus on calories and eat what you can to meet your caloric requirements. That is it. Don't overcomplicate it. Effie says she's down. You're 10 pounds away from being out of the overweight category. You want to lose 10 more pounds after that. Can your program help me with the last shred of 10 pounds? Yeah, I mean, I only do weight loss for clients. I don't do because I just love it. So 10 pounds or 100 pounds, the approach is the same. The numbers will be different and the workouts, the cardio may be different. But yeah, for sure. Um, Thoughts on bag of frozen bird's eye broccoli versus fresh? Is there a huge difference? The convenience. So as far as frozen vegetables, I'm a huge fan of frozen vegetables because they're super convenient, because they're super easy to make. On top of that, frozen people think that frozen vegetables are bad for whatever reason. It's blows my mind to even think this way. When reality, frozen vegetables are flash frozen at the peak of ripeness. So your frozen vegetables likely have more nutrients than the fresh vegetables that have been laying in the supermarket for the last 3 days for waiting for you to pick it up, and then waiting for you to actually pick it up and then store it in the fridge for 2 more days and then start cooking it. Right. So both are fine. I still eat fresh vegetables, like, of course, but I also love frozen vegetables. What salad dressings do I use? I use a balsamic vinaigrette and a little bit of olive oil. When you pump weights, your cortisol increases. This has developed over the last few years to the point where I have to stop training. How can I deal with this? Thanks. Um, I would say you should probably speak to a medical professional regarding your cortisol levels. But it's honestly not that big of a deal as far as your cortisol levels increasing, unless it's having an effect on you that is stopping you from working out for whatever reason or makes you feel terrible afterwards. Um, but I wouldn't really stress it. No problem, Mookie. Let's see. Do I have any advice for truck drivers trying to a high amount of lose a high amount of weight? As far as being a truck driver, I mean, as far as I understand, a lot of your food choices will be from a gas station or like a truck stop. Um, just from if that's the case, I would suggest to get a small fridge if you can and stock up on a bunch of different Greek yogurts, maybe protein powder if you want to. Have some lean deli meats or get a whole bunch of pre-cooked grilled chicken from a supermarket and keep it in that fridge that you have in your truck if you have one, right? Get a whole bunch of wraps and use that chicken for the wraps. Get a whole bunch of hot sauces. Get a whole bunch of Greek yogurts in that fridge. Have fruit for snacks. If you can actually have a microwave, that's even better. You can get different kinds of food that you can reheat, but a lot of these truck stop food choices are super high calories and not very filling. So get a lot of fruits and vegetables. Fruits probably easier than vegetables if you're a truck driver, but try to get as many fruits as you can and keep your protein as high as possible. Because as a truck driver, you're probably going to be snacking a lot on the chips, maybe seeds, maybe it's pretzels, crackers, whatever it is. Does intermittent fasting still have all the benefits when not doing keto? Hated keto. Yes, there was actually a study published, I think, a few weeks ago, or something like that, where it literally said that there's no benefit to intermittent fasting as compared to a regular calorie deficit. So if you want to do intermittent fasting because it makes you feel better, it makes you able to stick to a calorie deficit easier, do it. But don't do it because you think there might be some kind of magical benefit to it. There isn't. So keep that in mind. How do I feel about regular peanut butter? I absolutely love peanut butter, but it's super caloric. So I choose to eat dry peanut butter powder instead because it's a lot less calories and still has the same exact taste. Awesome. If you've gotten value from this video so far, drop a fire emoji down below in the comments. And one more time, I saw a few people asking me in the chat below about coaching. If you want to reach out to me, you want to work with me to actually lose some weight and make sure it's sustainable and fun, most importantly. You can comment 2022 down below in the comments. You can also shoot me a message on Facebook. You can say 2022. I'll reach out to you. Or you can also click on my bio and there's a form to fill out. Fill it out. I'll reach out to you and we'll just take it from there. And I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you for everyone who's bought the cookbook and has shown me their recipes they've made. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And enjoy your week.